Hello, everyone. Greetings to you all in Jesus' mighty name. Today, I want to address the implication of the struggles that we go through on the impact of that struggle. And one of the classic texts that will help us understand as a framework within that struggle is from book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against prosperity, against powers, against spiritual wickednesses in high places. Have you ever wondered things that we go through in life, certain difficulties or certain encounters that really challenges our conviction, put us in such a very poor state, and things that perhaps unexpected? Have you ever wondered, how does all this come about? What do we do to deserve all this? Well, you can paint many pictures of that, but I want to begin to draw attention to the spiritual element of these things, how these things have an impact on those of us that we desire to perhaps reason from ethical perspective or moral standard, and especially when our reference point or a character reference taken from the biblical side of things or scripture. It is quite challenging when you want to follow certain rules and regulations. Um, Somebody, one occasion, talked about culture, how culture is a framework and their own character. Then my response to that is, my culture, yes, I really embrace my culture, but I feel like my biblical culture is a tool that filters my own culture. Because I am not putting down my culture or trying to put it as a less important, but my culture is very important and I really uphold my culture. But at the same time, I just feel like my experience and journey thus far, that my biblical culture take precedent over my own earthly culture or natural culture, in a sense that as much as I embrace the natural culture, what the spiritual or the Bible culture does, it filters it. Things that need to put in certain position, it just position it well. But I just that's the way I feel that it has worked so far for me, and I'm grateful to God that I have opportunity to embrace both, and it's quite effective. Now, coming back to the spiritual issues and the warfares and the oppositions, prosperities and powers, I want us to begin to unveil the underlying factors in the difficulties of life and the things that we go through. It doesn't mean that it's not set part of it, not normal or part of the process of life, but we need to be proactive. We need to be more aware and then identify when we are in a spiritual battle or when we are just in a normal ups and downs of life. We need to be very clear on that, because I do know and I do feel a sense of this is a spiritual battle. Also, the other way, I do feel that, okay, this is the normal circumstances that others go through. And then we're also trying to put them together if we can, because I know First Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13 made it clear that no temptation that cometh in our way, there is not such as common to other people. But God is faithful, who will make it for us to escape it. At the same time, make your patient or embrace patience to be your key element in engaging a time of temptation. That means waiting period. Not to jump into conclusion, basically. Now, the point I'm trying to make is this: awareness or identity of what type of battle we are in. Okay, it doesn't really matter whether that's a length of the period that the battle or the difficulties or inconveniences last. But the main thing that is in this equation is awareness, identification of what type of struggle are you in. Are you in a spiritual battle? Are you just in a natural circumstances? Even the enemy also act on that as well. But our own part is to be spiritually alert and spiritually discerning where God is at during this process. So now I give it to you, people of God, or I will share with us that God is also in our struggles. God is also in our difficulties. God is also in our inconveniences, in our misfortune. God is not a God that is only, it's like an abstract God that is only in one particular position, that whenever we need him, we're going to grab him and he will sort out things for us and go back. No, it's a God that continuously involves in our journey, in our activities, in our life, in our waking up, in our walking around, in our sleeping. God is constantly involved in our personal journey. So the key point I'm trying to bring out of this is this: do not overlook sudden encounter that question integrity of God, maybe misfortune that comes in your way, but to gear up the insight that Jesus gave us, that we should also understand what we are going through, and that is by fasting and praying. What does it mean by fasting and praying? You see, the body have such connection with the things of the world, or the things that is very gloomy and all looking good in hindsight. But I want to encourage you in a very spiritual manner, abstaining maybe certain period or giving up certain things just to this, for the space of time to pray. It's quite important. Prayer is about communication with God, being in a dialogue with God, talking to God. It's also part of it. And also waiting. When you're in difficulty, waiting, allowing time while you're going through it, and then the reflection and also persistency. So do not feel like, well, it can be bothered, or, well, I'm going to give up. No, don't give up. Doesn't matter what you're going through, don't give up. Because once God is involved in your life, God has a sort of responsibility to ensure that you gain that overcoming outcome, so that you can have that opportunity to testify a victory in that process, in that situation. So may I encourage all of us, remain faithful, remain resolute, do not give up, do not feel that God has forsaken you. On the contrary, God has not forgotten you.